Hi, we're here at the European Seller Conference, which is an event for Amazon sellers which OrangeClick team organizes here in Prague. I'm here with Bradley Sutton from Helium 10, one of the speakers of today's event. Hi Bradley, how are you doing so far and how have you been enjoying the event?
This is great. I love it. This is actually, I think, I've done a lot of virtual events in Europe. I think this might be my first speaking event in Europe out of all the years I've been in the industry. So I'm having a really great time. This is set the bar high. So anybody else from Europe who's going to invite me to their conference, I'm sorry, you're going to have a hard time matching this one here.
Well, that's great to hear. Actually, last time when we met personally was in Las Vegas when Helium 10 organized the conference, and we did a similar type of interview there. So now I think it's a nice way how to catch up. So I think it was more or less like 10 months ago when we last saw, and there were some updates going around in Amazon at the time. But what has been going around or happening in the past months in the Amazon world? Any cool updates? Any bad news for Amazon sellers?
Yeah, I think the one I hear about a lot is the inventory. That was a problem that a lot of sellers were having during COVID, and then even last year where they would all of a sudden not be able to send their inventory in. And then a few months ago, Amazon implemented a new system, and I know a lot of people were skeptical about it. Me, I wasn't affected. Like I have my own warehouse, and so like I can send as much inventory as I want. But of course, a lot of Amazon sellers, maybe they don't have a 3PL warehouse, and so they have to send their inventory directly from China or another place. And so they were worried about like this new bidding system, that Amazon was implementing. But actually, until now, I haven't heard too many issues or complaints. I think the biggest thing in the last few months has been that new law that passed in the United States about everybody has to re-verify. And honestly, the rollout wasn't very great. Like I filled it out and then I thought I filled it out right, but then all of a sudden the next day it says, hey, your account is going to be suspended. And so I opened up a case with Seller Central, and then they said, no, you're fine. You don't disregard that message. You're finished all the verification. And then 1 week later, I go back in and it says, oh no, you need to do this postcard verification. So it's kind of a mess, right now. But I think that's probably the biggest thing that is concerning Amazon sellers now.
And I think with this this law and everything, it was just like it popped up on the dashboard just like suddenly, and it was like quite concerning for everybody. And I saw in the Helium 10 Facebook group everywhere, like people were just posting so much and wanting to have information about it. So as I said, you are one of the speakers at our event, and you presented today. Can you share what was your topic? No, actually, I will tell the topic was about like 20-step guide how to launch products, and then instead of 20 steps you actually presented 44. So can you expand a little bit what you presented about?
Yeah, so I made that title before and I had 20, and then I was like, you know what, this is kind of cool. Like I did a couple of case studies in the last month where I added new strategies, so it ended up more than 2xing it. And so like I talked a lot about the data points, not just in Helium 10, but there's so many cool data points in Amazon that we haven't had that people can look at with Product Opportunity Explorer, Search Query Performance, great ways to kind of get ready for launch. And I had somebody come up to me afterwards, after the thing, and said, man, you know what? If you could like put that in a book, or that information we went over, like I would pay $1,000 for that, because he said, we're not even, my team is not even doing all these things. And I said, yeah, like not, one of those 44 items is not going to make $1 million or whatever, but each one, maybe it'll give you 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 more sales, and then it adds up, per month. There's so many Amazon sellers who aren't doing all of the strategies that they should be, and who knows how much money they're leaving on the table. So that was kind of like, I wanted to do a presentation where I just go as detailed as possible what a seller needs to do at launch.
And the feedback so far has been great, because I think all of the presentations at this event have been very practical, very straight to the point. People are saying they get so many notes out of it, but they have to review everything back at home to make sure that they implement also what they learn. And I have seen you attending basically all of the sessions as well. So what speakers have you enjoyed so far listening to? And have you gotten any good insights for yourself as well, which is like kind of either new or just something you haven't done in a long time maybe?
Yeah, there was one that I just came from right now, talking a few minutes ago about Google Ads. I don't even run Google Ads, so there are some good things there. Alina from AZ Rank had a good one where she, talked about some strategies that I'm going to implement, right away already. She's obviously a launching expert, so so she knows exactly what's going on. Kamal from AMZ One Step had some really good ones about the brand store. You know, I've been doing A+ content, but I haven't in some of my listings been doing the brand store, so that was great information. No matter what event I go to, even if I'm seeing similar speakers, like I've seen Kamal speak before, I've seen Alina speak before, but everybody does a good job. They always come with fresh information. So every time I learn, you know, I know sometimes maybe if we come to an event and you're speaking, like, oh, I'm just going to stay in my room, or I'm just going to go, you know, drinking in the bar or something. But I like to actually go in and listen to all the other speakers, and this one has not disappointed.
Well, very good to hear that, because yeah, we put a lot of effort on the content part as we do with our YouTube channel. We do the same way with physical events, so we really want to make sure that everything that is presented on stage is something that sellers could listen to and then try it out basically at home. I wanted to ask, so I think it's one of the first events for you in Europe to attend, but you do go to events in US. So what is like one of the biggest differences you see between like European Amazon Seller Conference or an event compared to the US one?
I would say the difference is kind of like what I was saying, how it's not just the speakers, but everybody is in there. Like that room was packed. So what happens sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's because there's a lot of events in Las Vegas and you just stay up so late. But in the events in Vegas, sometimes at least the morning and even the afternoon, like 50% of the attendees, they're not there in the auditorium. Like who knows, they have hangover or they're just talking around. But here, the room was packed. It was like standing room only, even from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. And so I'm not sure what's the reason. Maybe it's culture in Europe. I don't know, but I like it. You know, like it's really, as a speaker, you know, you don't like to look at an empty room or where everybody's like half asleep because they didn't sleep the last night. But when everybody's there and taking notes, it's really inspiring as a speaker.
In addition to learning and learning about new things, learning about fundamental things, networking and having a great time together with other sellers is also very important. It's great to see that actually here we have attendees from more than 35 different countries, and most of the sellers attending this conference have been selling at least 2-3 years and are doing already very good, but also they have their own struggles. So coming back to the networking part, what are your plans for tonight to meet other sellers and network with them?
Yeah, so first of all, until now, there's been great networking. I really love the different breakout sessions you had, and so much food. Like I've already gained like 3 or 4 kilos, I think, while I'm here. But tonight, thankfully, you know, we didn't have the dinner here because it allowed us to go to another place. So one of my favorite restaurants from last time I was in Prague is this pizza place called Johnny's Pizza. And so a big group of us are going to go to Johnny's Pizza, and then maybe afterwards we're going to go out to some other networking. And for everybody listening, maybe you guys haven't been to a conference. We've been talking about the sessions. That's important, but to me, that's like not the most important thing of a conference. Like you almost get as much or more value from the networking. So I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm actually very antisocial. Like I have this personality that seems over top, but like I'm kind of shy naturally. So it's harder for me to just like go up to somebody I don't know and talk to them. But maybe you guys are like that. So I just really say, hey, try to come out of your shell. If you go to a conference like this, meet somebody that you've never talked to. In one of the dinners, go sit in a table where you don't know the people. Don't go to the people you know. And then you're going to make business relationships for life. You know, my first conference 7 years ago, there's people I met there that I'm still, you know, now they're in my network still 7 years later. So I think it's real important.
Just so you know, we're actually very reserved in most countries in Europe, so we're actually not going to talk with somebody so easily, but it's so great to see that actually at this conference we're able to create this very good environment where people are very open. And I know a lot of sellers come up to you and also talk, and for them it's actually not a regular thing to do, so we're really happy to see that they have the courage to come and talk with you and ask additional questions, and people kind of line up a little bit after the presentation even, but it's awesome to see how the experts, the speakers, the sellers, everybody is kind of like talking with each other, discussing different things. So yeah, we're very excited that you were joining us for this event. We hope to see you soon again. And I hope you enjoyed the pizza as well. So thank you.